Do you feel your heart race, palms start sweating, or your mind go blank the moment you step on stage or start speaking in a meeting? You're not alone, but what if I told you that public speaking is a skill, not a gift, and you can master it with the right tips from the world's best speakers? Stay with me as I share proven strategies that can transform your next speech or presentation. Hi, I'm Fatah Khan, authority architect, best-selling author, and 3-time TEDx speaker. I help coaches, consultants, and mid-career professionals build their authority and confidence through powerful communication. In this video, I'm sharing tips straight from the playbooks of TEDx speakers, leadership coaches, and master presenters. By the end, you will have practical tools to make your audience listen, engage, and remember you. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like if you find this useful. Now, let's start with what do you need to start with whenever you are starting your speech or a presentation. It is always starting with a strong hook. The first 30 seconds of your speech can make or break your connection with the audience. Experts say never start with good morning or thank you for inviting me, or instead begin with a story, right? A personal or relatable story, or a shocking fact, or a thought-provoking question. Like I still remember when I did my TEDx, I was thinking, what do I start with? And because I had been a Toastmasters club member, I had learned from Toastmasters how the best TEDx speakers start their speech. They start either with a question, engaging question, or they start with a story, or there are many other ways they actually start with, like sometimes a shocking news or something. But then I felt a story is a better way to start. And I still remember my TEDx speech where I started with a story. And think of it, whenever you have heard any speech which starts with a story, like once upon a time, you are like curious, what is that once upon a time? You have always heard this in the stories. And when I started this, once upon a time, there was a crow which was very happy in his life until one day saw a swan, right? So the story I continued like that, and that became a hook, right? That is the hook. Like people start glued to you. What if I would have started, hey, I'm Fatah Khan, I'm so and so, not interested, right? Or what if I'm starting with, hey, good morning everyone, how are you doing? No, that's not the way. That was me, my past version, before I joined Toastmasters or before I actually started working on my communication skills. And now this is something very powerful that I want you to take it forward. Whenever you start with a hook, maybe a story, a question, right? Or a statistics, a number, anything that you can start with. But for me, my favorite one is starting with a story, right? Imagine losing your voice just minutes before a speech. That's exactly what happened to me in 2019, right? And then that is where I did not stop. So action step for you is write down the 3 opening lines before your next talk and test them with a friend or a colleague, right? Or your family member. And then comes tip number 2, the power of pause. Great speakers know this. It's not just what you say, it's how you let your words breathe. Pausing creates drama, right? Gives the audience the time to absorb and helps you to collect your thoughts. Think of it. I'm sure you have watched movies. And in movies, especially when there is some tragic incident that happens, let's say hero's mother dies, what happens? Is it going too fast, or does it allow you to sink in? It allows you to pause, sink in, because you need to go down in those emotions. And that's exactly what pauses will help you with, right? If you're just going fast with a speed, you don't allow people to sink in, right? To feel that emotions. That's where pauses can help the people, your audience, to feel that emotions. And what do the experts do? Like Barack Obama, right? Or even Simon Sinek. They use strategic pauses to highlight key points. Or even you talk about the greatest speakers, they use strategic pauses. Now try this. Practice reading a paragraph aloud and intentionally pause at commas and full stops. Now record this and listen to how powerful you sound. That one change alone can make your speech a powerful one. Now comes your tip number 3. Master your body language. Studies show that over 50% of the communication is non-verbal. Actually, it is more than 50%. It's more than 80% is non-verbal. Right? It's more like an 80-20 rule. That means your gestures, your posture, your eye contact are important as your words. Are actually, I can say, they are more important than your words. The tips from stage coaches, right? What I have learned is stand tall, feet grounded, use open hand gestures, avoid crossing the arms, right? Move with purpose. Don't pace mindlessly. I remember one of my mentees, when I was training him on the book launch event, right? He was walking from one place to the other place to the other, and it was so disturbing for the audience. But when you move, right? When you move purposely and mindfully, that makes it a great presentation. Right? And then, of course, make eye contact. Scan the room, right? Scan the room, connect with one person at a time, like as if you're talking to that person. And the challenge for you is film yourself practicing and notice your movements. Do they support your words or are they not supporting your words? And then comes your tip number 4. Tell stories, not just facts. Because facts tell, stories sell. Right? I still remember, like this is one of the powerful technique I learned from my mentor. Whenever he used to do this workshops, what he used to do is, initially there is a lot of knowledge sharing and information and everything. And whenever the sales pitch came, he used to always drive the sales by telling stories, right? Stories of different people. Even if you look at testimonials, the customer testimonials, aren't they stories? Yes, the stories of what? Transformation. When people hear the stories of transformation, whether it is from others or even it is from you, whether when they hear the case studies, what are they? They are all stories. When they hear the stories, they connect. And that's what every public speaking expert will tell you. People remember emotions, not just the data. Right? Example, instead of saying 80% of the people fear public speaking, what is that? That's a statistic. Share a personal story about your first nerve-wracking experience and how you overcame it. Like I still remember when the first time I went on the Toastmasters Club, the stage, right? I was shivering, right? My palms were wet and I was like, hey, what do I speak? And I forgot a few lines. And it does happen with everyone, right? Most of us, we start with a lot of fear, self-doubt and everything. But then you can overcome it. The action for you is, for your next speech, write down one story that illustrates your main message. And then comes your tip number 5. Rehearse like a pro. Like this is one of the best things that I have learned and it has always helped me. Rehearse. Like whenever I have went on the stage, one thing I have remembered from one of my mentors is, if you respect your audience, the one thing that you will do is rehearse your speech. Because you might be a great speaker, but the audience has come with a lot of expectations. And the only way, or the one best way of respecting your audience is rehearsing. And the best speakers are the ones who rehearse the most, right? And until a long time, I was thinking great speakers are born as great speakers. But then I realized all those great speakers, they actually write the speech, the script, and they rehearse it, right? And if you want to become a great speaker, start rehearsing like a pro. The secret to effortless speaking is preparation. Like practice. Even if you see Sachin Tendulkar or Dhoni can play in the shot. Why? Because they do so much of net practice. And when they are on the ground, they are like the masters, right? And that is what you will also become when you start practicing. Preparation is the key. Even the best speakers, they rehearse often more than what we imagine. We might think they are the best speakers, so they might not have rehearsed, but they would have practiced more than even what you imagine. Steve Jobs was known for his rehearsal for hours together before the product launches. And I'm sure you remember the product launches, whether it was iPad, iPod, or whether it was Apple products like your iPhone. Right? The speeches, amazing. But did he come random and then just gave it? Right? Was he not prepared? No, he practiced, he prepared, and that made him a great speaker and also a great what? A great salesperson, because he was able to sell products like a pro. And then the final pro tip for you is practice out loud, not just in your head, because if you're practicing in your head, you will not be able to learn from there. So practice out loud, simulate the real scenario, stand, use gestures, and then time yourself. Stay within the limits, because the way you respect your audience is by staying on time, right? And the tip is record your rehearsals. In today's world, I think each one of us have access to smartphones. Like use your smartphone, record it, watch that, and you can refine that. And one mindset shift can change everything. So stop worrying about how you look and focus on how you serve. Because this is the mindset shift. The mindset shift of shifting from yourself. How do I look? How people will look at me, right? How am I looking? My dress, my way of dressing, or the way I am like looking right now with my shoes or whatever. Rather than that, moving the focus to, shifting the focus to the public. Because when you start looking at what is the benefit that I can give, how they can take the maximum out of this session, that mindset shift alone can get you huge success. Because public speaking is all about your audience. It's not about you. The more you care about helping them, the more confident and natural you will feel. Now it's your turn, right? Tell me which tip will you apply first. Comment that below and let me know. And hey, if you need more resources on mastering the communication and building your authority, check out the link in the description for my free guide and also about my masterclass which you can attend and master the communication skills. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And remember, every great speaker was once a beginner who chose to practice, and you have got this. All the best.